It's time for Cats Talk Wednesday. Small town and big city joined forces. Vinny Hardy of Lynch, Kentucky, and Terry Brown of Louisville, Kentucky, team up to give you free-flowing, laid-back sports talk. Focus on Kentucky Wildcats, as well as pertinent information in the NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball.
And that's what we try to do each and every single week. A little bit different this week, though, because it doesn't happen very often that myself or TB go solo. It's not often that we miss shows either. We usually doing this thing each and every week. Cats Talk Wednesday. Welcome in, everybody. Got a fun show for you. My name is Vinny Hardy. My homie Terry TB Brown is not on tonight. I don't know if you've listened for the past couple of weeks, but he was in the process of moving, and that is continuing to take place. Got a lot of it done yesterday. Got up in there, but hadn't got the Wi-Fi and stuff set up yet, so he wasn't able to hop on. Said it was some stuff kind of with the box outside, the connection and all that was still having to get some stuff worked out. So, you get in, and you got all the unpacking and all the little detail stuff, and you tired and wore out after getting everything to the new location. Then you got to find where you want it and find what's in this box and what's in that box and all that good stuff. So hope TB and Kate have a smooth move as possible. Everything falls into place, and hopefully he'll be back on with us next week. He did do his Twitter Spaces for a little bit for y'all to follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Vinny Hardy, TB at TBrown_80. Follow the show at Cats Talk Wednesday, Cats Talk WED. He didn't host the Spaces for the entire duration like he normally does. He popped in for a little bit, said what's up, hopped back on a little bit later, and was talking a little bit, continuing to still move. But there's a few little stories that was popping up about the move yesterday, so we'll probably get the full details on those next week once he moved in and everything is more where they want it in the new place. There was some funny stuff coming out of that, but we got a fun show this evening. We're gonna press on. I'm gonna talk for a little bit, not too long. It's kind of an abbreviated show. Started a little bit later. Got some guests coming on. Guys have been on the show multiple times. I don't remember how many times they've been on the show. The KY Sports guys, Josh Hurt, Bryant Stockton. Their Twitter is scrolling across the screen at Coach J Hurt. The Stock Tony. You can follow them there, and also at KY Sports guys on Twitter. And for years, they do their show every Wednesday, just like we do. We're on from 6 to 8. They're in Central Time, so it's 5 to 6. So from 6 to 7 for us, 5 to 6 for them. We've been doing our thing for years on Wednesday evening. They're in Edmonton, Kentucky. They've hopped on here with us before. We've been on their show. We did a crossover show back when TB and I were still on Blog Talk Radio and taking calls. We called into their show while we were recording, and we were both on each other's shows at the same time. Had a KY Sports guys, Cats Talk Wednesday crossover, so that was cool. I'll send the link out to those guys here in just a little bit. Get them time to finish up with their show and get the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And just a few minutes, they'll hop on and be right here with us. As y'all know, we come to you courtesy of Anchor. You can listen to us on Anchor, Spotify, Spreaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, tons of podcast platforms where each and every one of these episodes are uploaded to each week, and you can listen. If you prefer the audio mode, you can go that route. Each of these shows are also now being recorded on video on StreamYard here, and we'll put it up on YouTube and also on Roku. And y'all know we come to you on Roku courtesy of the BS3 Network. The homie Ben Sutterth, who does our intro for us, and I was kind of trying to adjust the volume and tinkering with that, so I was messing with the intro a little bit. I think I muted it for just a second, but you hear the intro every week from Ben Sutterth. We're proud to be part of the BS3 Network. Us, as well as many other sports podcasts and comedy and culture and education and whatever you want to delve into, you can find a podcast you're liking on the BS3 Network. We've had several other hosts on here with us. Ben Sutterth himself, who we're talking about, AJ Jones, Ivan Dawkins, Courtney Harden. Been fun having those guys hop on the show with us, and hope y'all have enjoyed it as well. So if you got your Roku device, you can watch this episode. Won't have to hear me drone on by myself too long. KY Sports guys will be here in just a second. One thing too, we used to don't do a whole lot of polls. We follow us on Cats Talk Wednesday on Twitter. I'm gonna throw one out here right now because Kentucky and Louisville are big rivals, and Louisville's continuing to kind of have a lot of drama that continues to just seem to happen over and over and over again. I think it's over and something else pops up. Eric Crawford at WDRB had a story about the stuff with Dino Gaudio. There's a whistleblower lawsuit that's happening with Louisville. And the lady that is filing the suit, received some blowback from the university, from the then president, from Vince Tyra. Chris Mack was being shady, all kind of stuff. But she had to go to the FBI because of the Gaudio stuff and extortion and Mac recording this stuff illegally. And the Amy Shoemaker, who used to be the deputy general, was getting feeling the wrath from the rest of the higher ups in Louisville for having to go to the FBI. So the article is just crazy. So the poll that I put out, because Hugh Freeze, the former Ole Miss coach, has also been involved in his share of shady stuff, and he is now at Liberty, continuing to be shady and sketchy and creepy. He slipped into a young lady's DMs. The young lady has a lawsuit against Liberty University. She's been sexually assaulted. Hugh Freeze sends her a DM defending the athletics director of Liberty, the school that she is an alum of, but also has a lawsuit against for being sexually assaulted. Hugh Freeze thought it was a good idea to get into her DMs and tell her that this AD is a good guy. So with these things kind of happening at the same time, the poll question I'm going to put out on Cats Talk Wednesday is, when will Hugh Freeze ultimately wind up at Louisville? Because both of them are always in some mess, and they kind of seem made for each other. I mean, if Satterfield struggles again, gets blown out by Kentucky again, will Louisville make the call to bring in Hugh Freeze? Would it really surprise us? I said, both of them are always in some mess. I'm not trying to just poke at Louisville, but they always got some stuff going. And here we go again. Someone put that poll out at Cats Talk Wednesday. Vote in the poll. Put some comments there. Interact with it. Don't do a whole lot of polls, but we'll throw some out there every now and then. Our buddies coming up, like I mentioned, the KY Sports guys, they always putting out some polls during their show on a weekly basis, depending on whatever they're talking about. But gonna tweet this one out, and it'll be up for a few days. So y'all click the options and vote on it if you like. We'll see what happens with it. Let's see what other topics we want to get into as well. I had a few written down. A few of them, we backtrack from time to time. Mean to talk about something this week and don't get to it, and we get you later. If it's still evergreen, if you will, bounce back and bring it up at a later time. So some of these things that happen, which is not a ton going on anyway, especially as far as UK is concerned. TB and I hit them next week. He'll probably we can still hit this topic that we just hit with the Eric Crawford story um, with Amy Shoemaker in Louisville and Hugh Freeze DMing Chelsea Andrews. I failed to mention her name. Um, but yeah, vote in the poll if you like. Because Louisville always got some stuff going. Hugh Freeze always got some stuff going as well. We got some, I don't know, maybe some congratulations to give out to friends of the show. We've been fortunate to have a lot of really cool guests hop on here and be on the show with us through the years. We're getting able to hear a lot of cool people, and we just enjoyed interacting with them. Her name is very familiar, Anna Tarullo. Been on the show many, many times. Um, from Louisville, went to Georgia and got all her broadcast journalism and degrees and such from down there. Worked in the DC area, covered Georgetown, kicked it with the Dikembe Mutombo and interacted with a lot of the DC sports celebrities from there in the DMV. Went to Huntington, Virginia. And that's the first time we had her on with us. She was still over there in Huntington, Virginia, covering Marshall and West Virginia and everything over that direction in Mountaineer country. Hopped on the show because she was from Kentucky, had her on to talk sports. I don't think TB was on that day. I think his little girl had a recital or something. But she had some surgeries that didn't go well, had some health problems, and a lot of issues with the doctor and some negligent surgeon activity. And it's really affected her health. And that had happened before she got back to Kentucky. She moved back to Lexington and became a co-host of BBN Tonight. And, we've had pretty much everybody from that show on. Anna, Keith Farmer, Jesse Riffey, Christy Thomas, Maggie Davis. We're going to have everybody from the show on at different points in times. But Anna had been out recently for about a month or more, getting some of these previous surgeries corrected. She was out off work for a long time. And matter of fact, when we had Maggie Davis on, it's right after Anna had surgery and was going to be out for a while. But she made her triumphant return to BBN Tonight last night. So congratulations to Anna. Everybody's glad to see her back. She does a great job. Her energy and personality just burst through the screen when you watch her on BBN Tonight. So let a little bit of time go by, let her get back in the swing of things, and let things kind of get back to normal as possible, even though it'll be going into the hectic football season and fall sports will be kicking off. But we definitely get Anna back on here and catch up with her and talk with her. She is good people. Another friend of the show, Jeff Pecoro, who does the color for UK football alongside the voice of the Cats, Tom Leach. Jeff is now the sports director at Channel 36, ABC 36 in Lexington. So cool to see him doing that as sports director at Channel 36. Had been there before, done that before, back doing it again. He also used to do stuff for the Reds back recently, Reds Live. You see him on the pre and post game show for the Reds. The color with Tom Leach for UK football. Played for the Cats back in the 80s for a long time. He was on one of those last teams that ever won in Knoxville against those hated Tennessee Volunteers until the Cats won down there in 2020. But Pitt was a wide receiver for the Cats back with Joker Phillips and Bill Ramsdale and all those guys. So congratulations to Jeff, being the sports director at ABC 36 News in Lexington. So got some friends of the show doing some moving and shaking and handling business. So congratulations to them. I'm going to get the link over to the KY Sports guys. I'm going to attempt to do that and talk with y'all at the same time and try not to have any disastrous technical difficulties. So let me get the link sent out, get this invite so we can have the KY Sports guys on here. Y'all won't just have to hear me. Y'all can be entertained by what they come on here and say here in just a second, because all kind of topics that'll be discussed with Coach Jay Hurt in the Stock Tony. So hang tight. Let me get this over here to these guys. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. I'll hit that little paste and send. And we ought to be in business. So that wasn't too painful at all. What else is going on? The Cats have been going around the state, in London. So Oscar Tshiebwe holding babies, interacting with the fans, cool stuff like that. Stuff happening in the summer. Talking season starts next week. We'll have SEC Media Days in Atlanta. Coach Stoops and Kenneth Horsey and a couple other guys will be going down there. So that'll be cool. I think next Wednesday, a week from today, is when the Cats actually, hit media roll and make the rounds in Atlanta this year, not Birmingham, like it had been for years. It'll be in the ATL, and we'll see what Coach Stoops and the fellas have to say. Will Levis is going, Kenneth Horsey. Pull up who are all going as well. Let's see here. I won't leave nobody out. Let's see. DeAndre Square, Kenneth Horsey, Will Levis, Coach Stoops. That is the 4 that's going to the ATL. So look forward to hearing what they got to say. Kenneth Horsey's a good talker. Will Levis, man, he's not going to disappoint when it comes to media days. We've seen him do his thing from TikTok to eating bananas and drinking mayonnaise and the whole 9. So be interesting to see what they say in Atlanta a week from today. I'm going to attempt to bring our guest on here. Let me do that right this second. They are friends of the show. You hear the distinctive intro, this right here. That lets you know
from the studio,
Coach Jay Hurt and the Stock Tony are about to do their thing on 99.1 The Hoss. That is the intro for the KY Sports guys who are here right now, just finishing up their show. So let's bring them on in right now. Coach and Stock, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Hey, man.
Doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Flying solo tonight, which doesn't happen too often. TB is moving and in the house, but don't have the Wi-Fi up yet. All that good stuff. You got to get the detail work done when you move.
Oh, yeah.
No internet, so I flew solo and Gab for about 15 minutes, and then I said, let me get these guys on so you don't just have to hear me.
There you go. Yeah. It's a tough gig when you're doing it by yourself.
It changes the dynamic, even if you do it with someone else. It just changes the whole dynamic of the show.
Yeah. And we don't go solo much. There's been times when I've been out and he's done it. Times when I've done it without him. Believe in Kentucky, I've done it by myself a little bit more, but usually it's the both of us, and sometimes we have guests, sometimes we don't. Y'all know how that is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But, it makes you respect the Jim Romes and the Colin Cowherds, whether you like them or not.
Yeah.
They go 3 hours, and maybe they take calls, maybe they have guests, maybe they don't. Every day. It's crazy.
It is amazing what they can do, and just the ability to keep an audience on by themselves without guests for that length of time is crazy.
You've got to kind of love the sound of your own voice a little too much for myself to do that. I like to talk a little and be done with the talk and let somebody else talk for a while.
TB he talks about one of the times I was out for whatever reason, and I got my topics, and I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about that, and got a whole list of stuff, and he ran through all that in like 6 minutes. He's like, what am I going to
do? That's it. Yeah. Now what?
Yeah. How am I going to fill the rest of this? How can I filibuster for 80 minutes?
That's great.
So what's been going on? How's your summer been? I know y'all talked about some vacations and trying to catch your breath before school starts. What's been going on?
It's been a great summer. Just got back from Hilton Head Island. Really had a good family vacation down there. That's why we were off last week and not able to do the show. But, just trying to recharge the batteries a little bit. It's a slow time for sports. So that makes it a little tough. Unless you're like the two of us. I think you're as big a baseball fan as I am. I know you're a Braves guy, and I'm a Pirates guy, so we may butt heads a little on that. But not everybody enjoys talking baseball the way I do. So really, it's a slow time sports-wise, but it's a good time to kind of refresh and talk about some other things.
And I had that. Speaking of little topics you write down, I was going to ask you because your Pirates are not at the bottom; they're kind of in the middle of that division right now. And I'm like, are you encouraged by that? Are you encouraged?
Yes, they've won 4 in a row, and I tell you what I like sincerely. What they did for 4 or 5 years was they played a lot of older guys, and they were mediocre. And then they decided to do what I think you have to do, what the Cubs did and the Astros did, and what a variety of people have done, is get rid of the old guys, play the young guys, take your beating. I think right now you're seeing an O'Neal Cruz. I don't know if you're following O'Neal Cruz or not. You're seeing some Jack Sawinski, some young guys. Brian Hayes is going to be a star. I'm actually quite enthusiastic. Now, they're a franchise, unfortunately, that'll have a 2 or 3 year window, and then they'll have to start again. I get that, but I think the near future is pretty bright for the Pirates.
There you go. It's gotta take what you can get, and you. So whoever you interacted with a few weeks ago that said we're having a down year, and you said I've had 20 down years. So,
it was a sports reporter from Los Angeles, and they were complaining. They're like, we're winning, but it's not pretty. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Sounds like Big Blue Nation.
Oh my, yeah, it does a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 20-2, but I don't like it. I don't even understand. And I know you've been a Braves fan for a long time. You've suffered some. You know what that's like to suffer. So to hear a Dodgers person talk about winning ugly was offensive to me.
Exactly. You guys mentioned you're on vacation. Now I've never met y'all personally, but looks like y'all have got some rays and got some tan stuff going on. Looks like both of y'all soaked up some sun now.
Well, I'm headed actually down Saturday, but I stay out at the house a lot, so trying to get ready. Headed down to Florida Saturday, so we won't be on again next week. We're doing 2 off, 1 ons.
I'm not going to lie. Hilton Head was good to me. We had a great time. I soaked it up as much as I could. I tried the Sheryl Crow thing. I soaked up the sun, and it was great. It was a good family vacation for us, and it was a chance to get away. And I tell you what I did. I don't know if you're into this, Vinny, or not, but we've now made it a point 2 years in a row on our way to Hilton Head. This year we went through Augusta, and we caught the Augusta Mile, which I think is single A for the Braves. Maybe. So we caught them. The year before we stopped in Chattanooga. So I've had a lot of fun doing that, kind of watching some minor league baseball. It's been a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know. I'm sorry, Vin, if you soaked up the sun, did you have your 45 on?
Because I got my 45s on. That's it. Yeah.
I've heard SPF on exponentially doesn't get that much better after 30. Is that correct?
I don't know if that's true or not.
I'm not a dermatologist.
But yes, I did not have my 45s on. So.
I have no idea, but I just kind of throw your face and your arm, look like they got some stuff. And speaking of Sheryl Crow, she had so many hits in the 90s. I mean, she was just cranking them out. All I want to do is have some fun. Every day is a winding road. Favorite mistake. She had the catalog. She was
sure did
impressive.
What was the one you may have just said it? What was the one that Rod Stewart did originally? That wasn't favorite mistake. She did something that Rod Stewart had done. We'll come up with it before the show's over. But I don't know how you feel about Sheryl Crow. I like Sheryl Crow, but I never sit around and think I'm going to listen to some Sheryl Crow today.
That's true. I forgot how she was.
No, yeah, I like it. But I don't sit around thinking, you know what I'm going to do?
She did First Cuz the Deepest.
That's it. That's the Rod Stewart.
Okay.
Did Cat Stevens do that?
He wrote that.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Cat Stevens, yeah.
I love finding out stuff like that. I love finding out little stuff like that. Somebody sampled this or somebody covered that you had no idea. I love that stuff.
You covered Sweet Child of Mine too, which now is a big thing on Thor, right?
I don't know if I can go there.
Yeah, it was not the same.
That's almost like who was it? Taylor Swift. Didn't she do September?
Yeah.
That didn't go well.
Okay.
That wasn't good.
Sometimes look, you gotta, to me, do it justice or leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Amen.
Yeah. Trying to get Cats Talk Wednesday ratio by going after Swifties here.
That's right. Any response, Vinny, you get from the Taylor Swift audience, I apologize.
That's right. Because I've heard Stock Tony when things are be careful. He'll tell you tread lightly.
That's right.
Be careful.
We get some hate mail for sure.
How was y'all show tonight? You back in, then you're off, and doing the summer thing and kind of adjusting and pivoting. How was it tonight for y'all?
We had Clayton Truder on. I think it was on your show originally. Clayton's this is his third visit tonight. He participated on Cast Off. He did the whole show with us, participated on Cast Off. It was 90 sitcoms. We're going decade by decade, going to do a colossal cast off at the end of all the winners and a few wild cards. And I'm just going to tell you, if you've not heard the show yet, and I know you haven't, he goes hard, fast. He goes cutthroat quickly.
Pulls no punches. He takes out some heavy hitters early.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to listen to it. Usually early in the morning going to work is when I usually listen to y'all. So I'll definitely download that. Clayton is definitely good people, and coming on with the books, and even after going on Feinbaum, he still comes and does our show. So
I appreciate people like that. Yeah, that's right. Don't forget about us. He's really good. And while I'm talking about that, of course, you put us on to Clayton, but congratulations on your success. A lot of irons in the fire there for you, and doing a lot of cool things. So just you and TB are doing great work.
We appreciate it, and I just think it's so similar. Y'all have had so many great guests, and we have people that say yes and agree to come on and talk to us. And you're like, they don't know who we are, and they'll respond to a message and say, sure. I mean, the Loretta Swit interview from MASH that you did, and y'all have had Dan Issel and Kentucky media folks is, just like, we try to do, but how much you love MASH. I never was a huge MASH fan. I mean, I remember my dad watched it. I watched it. I always thought the theme song was really cool. I've never forgotten the intro, with the guitar. I mean, the mellow intro, the way it starts. So it's cool to hear you talk to her since you really knew the show.
Oh yeah, I loved it. It was one of the highlights of my life. I'm not just saying that. It's more than just meeting somebody for it was a 45-minute discussion where she was happy to talk to us about it and answer anything had to ask. And it was actually, if you listen to that episode, I was going to let her off the phone, and she kept the interview going to let us know that MASH was playing at her house on TV. It just came on as the interview winding down at her home. It was during COVID lockdown, so she was just amazing.
Hey, I got to ask, and I know it's your show, so don't let me host your show, but I know the Loretta Swit one for him for sure. Dan Issel for me. I mean, you grow up idolizing Dan Issel. You all have had a ton of great guests. I'm not saying which one was the best guest. Not going to put any comparisons there. But which guest did you have kind of that fan, starry-eyed kind of feel when you were interviewing them?
Kind of like y'all, you love them all, but there's some you're like, wow,
I can't believe I'm talking to Loretta Swit.
Yeah.
That's how you feel.
Maybe Sinbad, just because the way it happened. I think, I try not to just tweet somebody, hey, would you like to, you kind of, if they can DM or LinkedIn or some kind of email, some kind of way, or publicist, some kind of way. That's what I like to do. But I knew he was coming to Lexington. He was going to be at Comedy Off Broadway. I'm like, well, he's going to be in Kentucky. We're from Kentucky. I shot him a tweet at work like at 8 a.m. And I was like, he won't see it. And then if he does, he won't respond. It's whatever. And then he replied, and I told him what the show was about. I know you're going to be in Lexington, and we talk about Kentucky sports and things like that. You'd love to see if you come on, and I'll see what I can do or something like that. And then, so I sent him. Did I send him a tweet or the calling number for the show? Some kind of way I guess my phone number to text him. And then he said, I'll be free at about 7:30, which was like the last 30 minutes of the show, and end up kind of still texting with him while Terry and I are on. And Terry says when I text him that Sinbad's coming on at 7:30, he's like, he said, Sinbad, there's no way Sinbad's coming on at 7:30. We were still on Blog Talk Radio then, and so he called and his number pops up, and we got to talk with him. He's from Michigan, and he was talking about Magic Johnson and Michigan State. He was in Tokyo for the Tyson Buster Douglas fight When
Wow.
I mean, so that was, I'm like, man, I was in awe watching Tyson look for his mouthpiece when I saw it on ESPN. He was there and just interacting with the crowd. So that whole thing was just kind of like, wow, we're really talking to him about this. We didn't even really ask him about, some of the shows and movies. We just talked about the cool stuff he had done in his life. Basically, it was wow.
That would be top notch. Sinbad, I think.
That's huge.
I don't know your age, but I think we're all maybe in close in where we grew up. Man, Sinbad was a star.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I think I said it last time y'all were on, because we're all in that similar age bracket. We talk sports, we get nostalgic. Sometimes we veer off and talk other topics. But I am the youngest of the four.
All
I
right.
mean,
I'll take your word for it.
I think so, because TB's like 3 months older than me. We'll both be 45 this year.
I'm the oldest.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Man, for sure.
And I think I should have took a little dig. It's like I'm the youngest of this foursome, just coming by a couple years. We're all in the same neighborhood though. So when you just talk about the mega cast off, and I've been listening to the sitcom cast offs, who comes up with those every week? How do you know what you're gonna cast off? If it's gonna be a mega, if it's gonna be a regular? The thinking about that just wears me out. And y'all do it every single week.
The concept was something we came up with a long time back, but the lists themselves, mostly, Josh does some, but mostly I've come up with a lot of the topics. But the design of the mega cast off was when COVID lockdown started, all sports stopped. We were like, we need a little extra stuff. So we'll have a really large cast off for mega cast off. What we found was actually we were talking longer even before the cast offs, because we just got to talk about anything we wanted. So some of the COVID lockdown episodes were longer than some of our regular episodes. But it's just on a whim, really. When I came up with the idea of the 90s or the sitcoms cast off, I said that's 2 months worth of cast offs that I don't have to, consider what the next topic will be.
Yeah.
And I've been using ready-made lists as best I can a lot of times. Like Ranker does a lot of that stuff, and you go get them and you put them on the list, and then you just go from there. And it doesn't work out where Ranker's number one is our number one hardly ever. Especially when we got Clayton Truder thrown into the mix. The wild card of him, he was. I'm telling you, he was taking no prisoners tonight.
Well, it's already done, so it doesn't. I'm gonna be interested to see where. Back then, I was, Family Matters Step by Step was kind of, Full House came on, all that TGI stuff, but Family Matters and Step by Step, I kind of like them the best on Fridays. But I'm interested to see how it all shakes out, especially with the Clayton factor, just knifing stuff that you didn't think would be knifed.
Oh yeah,
it really is fascinating how all that came together. Of course, we started this 6, 7, 8 years ago, probably about the same time that you all got into the podcasting world, and just amazing how many wonderful people we've met through this medium. But he wrote a piece. We started this with a website, and he wrote a piece where everybody was into Survivor. Right, or all these, or Walking Dead, or what was Sopranos? And you watch Sopranos not for the plot, but you want to know who it is going to get killed this week, right? And so he said, "What if you did that with Modern Family?" That's what his piece was on the website. And then from there, he kind of dovetailed that in. What was our first one? Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
And it's amazing if you go back and listen to show 12. I think it is the very first cast off. It sounds nothing like it has really evolved into a really good piece and a lot of fun for a lot of people. It's almost like watching the first Simpsons.
Okay.
Look at how they're drawn and how they act, and then how they evolve over time. Because that Marge doesn't look like Marge. Now, for sure. So it's really been a neat thing to watch.
That's another thing y'all do. Y'all will say show 12, show 68, and we'll know what it is. I'm like, how in the world do y'all?
I could be wrong about that one. I don't know. It could be 12. It could be 13. I don't know.
I mean, but still, you're close. I mean, if I went show 12, I don't know. I know what guests we've had, but as far as the number, and y'all do it all the time. 246, 197. I'm like, how in the world are they just by number knowing?
But Vinny, if you ask me at the end of the show on a Wednesday, what we talked about on that very show, at the end, when I'm trying to write the little description, I can't remember.
We have to go back and think. Yeah,
I know. Yeah. I know that. I'll go back and play a piece. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then
that's what it was. Yeah.
jog my memory on what to type. I know that feeling too. I gotta ask y'all too, because y'all are educators, y'all are English teachers, like TB's mom, Mama B, y'all taught English, so y'all are teaching the young kids. The season start for y'all to call games just when school starts. So it's not like y'all can just, not saying Tom Leach has tons of time, but y'all, as far as show prepping and getting the Cumberland County roster, when do y'all have time to do that? Because school is going, then you got the game on Friday. How do y'all find time to get yourself ready for a broadcast, when people are listening to you call a live game?
That's sometimes tough. Sometimes it's just a last second, go on there, grab the roster and print it off, grab some stats. I'd like to do it's football, especially with it being once a week. We like to do a weekly radio interview with Coach LJ. Luckily, he and I both teach at the same school, sometimes have even the same planning period. So you got 5 minutes in there. We knock those out. Luckily, I'll say it, and then it'll happen this year, but we've only ever been interrupted by an announcement or anything like that once and had to redo it. So interviews go pretty fast. I don't want to say it's formulaic at this point, but it's almost like you can get it done fast because we've done it so often.
Wow.
It's easier now than it used to be.
And I would add to that, Vinny, I probably much like the work that you do, a lot of it is on the fly. And what you have to get used to, we kind of know the main players, but then you'll get familiar with some of the guys that are making the tackles for the other teams as the game's going on, and then that name will creep into your brain. And so you just have to be good at ad-libbing and do it as well as you can so people maybe don't notice it. Real quickly, you're talking about the numbers on the show. We do that band, Hornets Nest Pickers. I got the shirt on right now. And people will say after the show, y'all did 30 songs. How do you remember all those words?
Yeah.
I don't. But you don't know it. See, it's like you sing it and people sing along, and whatever I say, they're good with. It's very few people that are like, oh, that was the wrong word. So if you just keep on rolling, nobody knows it when you mess up.
That makes sense too. That makes sense. Speaking of, because the performing, what's the most fun to y'all? Because you guys have been together for a while. You got a radio show you do. You perform in a band, Hornets Nest Pickers. You call football games. You call basketball games. Are you able to say one is more enjoyable than the other? Or is it, how do you even?
Well, I hesitate to choose one above the other. They're all very different and all very similar. As Josh says, it's a lot of it's being able to think and move on the fly, to be able to sort of ad lib, to be able to roll with mistakes and punches. But they're all very different in respect of, one's radio. The games have gotten more challenging now that the Hornet News Network's involved, because if I make a mistake during a basketball game and no one can see it on the radio, nobody knows. But now they're televised.
Everything's live streamed.
Everybody knows if I call the wrong number, if I say a shot went in that didn't, or something to that effect. And then the football is a different animal, because there's a little extra time to fill after the play. You say who made the tackle, then you got 10 or 15 seconds before the next play. You can't take too much time. Basketball, it's just rat-a-tat-tat. So it's all very different. I don't want to pick one though, because I love them all so much.
I'm not going to take the easy way out. That's what a milquetoast way to go about it. Look,
I'm not even a politician.
The show is the best. The show is the most fun I have every week. We all do stressful jobs. We all do serious work, serious business. And there have been so many times that I've walked in on Wednesday, Stockton, we're just gassed. And you're just tired and frustrated maybe with stuff that's going on. And you know how that business, that stuff is. And you try so hard to help kids and do things. And, the atmosphere for education right now is difficult. For sure. But I will be almost dreading it sometimes, because you're just so tired. And the second we turn it on and the second we get going, and I can just drop that and have a big time, and it just lets me get my personality out. I mean, don't repeat this or anything, but in high school, I was class clown like 3 years in a row. I was known as somebody who didn't take very much seriously. And so now in my regular world, you know, as dad or as husband or as you know, educator or whatever, you have to be on. And this show just gives me a chance to tune it out and have a blast. And I think you all do the same. Just relax and have a big time. And it comes through in your show. I hope it comes through in our show. You know, second place, I love the music. Love getting up there and singing and performing and playing and having a big time. And then the broadcasts we really enjoy. But again, they're fairly serious.
Right.
You know, because people want a good product, you know, and they want their kid's name pronounced correctly. And when I remember one time, I still think about this stuff. There was a tackle by Tyler Jesse, really good player, and I saw 58 instead of 56. And this was a huge moment. And I'm talking about Dakota Shaw making this great play, and you know, it was the wrong guy. So, you know, some of those things kind of take the zap. It's great, but it's more serious work. Look, the show to me is it's fun every week.
And what to piggyback off what Josh is saying a little, there's a big difference in going and watching the game, to enjoy the game, to cheer on the team, and doing what we're doing. It's a different kind of fun, but it takes some of the joy out of it, a little bit of it, because you can't just relax and watch. You've always got to be on and ready to say what's happening next, to figure out what maybe mistakes been made, what's going on the field when there's a pause or anything. So there's a lot goes into it that does take a little bit of that just pure enjoyment of being a spectator out of it.
Right. I can definitely see that. And y'all been together for years, ever since Coach you moved to Metcalfe County.
2014, yeah.
Okay. So how, I know there've had to be a few one-on-one games in the gym or on the hardcore courts of Edmonton or Summer Shade or in y'all's driveway. How's the one-on-one games gone? How, you know, before the two good leaps or whatever, maybe. how did the one-on-one games go? I know Stock, you might have a little height on him, but you know, I mean, how did those battles go?
You know, oddly enough, that's never happened. We have never done that. I know that's wild. I have challenged. I'm sure you heard it, but I have challenged Justin Bieber to come down and play. He's scared. I don't know why he won't show up. I've thrown the gauntlet down time and time again. Stockton thinks he'd kill me.
He'd break both.
He thinks I wouldn't score. I would walk off the court injured because he says Bieber can play. I don't know. But look, Stockton would beat me in one-on-one. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm a passer. In college, they used to call I'm a picker screener. That's what I like to do. I like to pick and screen and you know, be physical and get a rebound or two. That's my game.
Well, legendarily, I had 64 points in the church league game.
Church league
that we lost.
Still came up short.
A bunch of possibly elementary children. I'm not sure as a high schooler. But you know, John Allen, Eastern Kentucky legend, teaches at our school, and he was talking about playing lately, and I was like, John, the good old days are far behind, and they weren't that good to begin with. For me.
I got to ask, Benny, do you still play? You still get up and down the floor?
Haven't played much once the COVID hit, but I finally got to go out in the backyard and me and the boys get out there a little bit. But as far as haven't played, even definitely not full court, but not a decent half court game in a little while. So I got a lot of rust to knock off if I get back out there.
The big contest with the coach that I have to do, and one of our friends callers who calls in a lot, Hockey Guy and his daughter Copley. Hockey Guy is a farmer. He lives in, I believe, southern Hart County.
Yeah, Three Springs.
And he, we've talked about our inability to back up very well in a vehicle, much less with a trailer attached. And Hockey Guy called in and has offered his entire farm, his arsenal of trucks and trailers and tractors and whatever, hay bales if we need them, to have a trailer backing Olympics. And we've got to take him up on that. Now, Coach Hurt may win that one. I'm not good. And the more the time goes up by, getting around to see back over my shoulder the way they teach you in the book, it's getting a little more difficult.
This is what I want, Vinny, though. And I think TB, he still plays, right? Because I see him out in some of those Twitter posts. He's got the back
running and
yeah, he's ready. Here's what I want. And I think I tried to get this going at one time. It just fell apart. But I want all these shows, like your show, our show, a couple of more. Maybe we get Anna Terrell. You know, I want to get some sort of like decathlon for Kentucky podcast stuff. So we'll play 2-on-2 hoops. You know, maybe we can have a Jeopardy contest. I don't know. We'll do whatever. We'll throw the cornhole bags, whatever works, and we'll just have a laugh Olympics.
That sounds great. You
probably beat us at backing up a trailer too, right?
I don't know. But I would love to see y'all because he's called in, and I'd love to see how that plays out. You know, if he's videoing y'all or whatever he's doing,
it would be as hysterical as you think.
He would need one of those video cameras that keeps things still while you move because he'd be laughing so hard.
Right.
Video if he didn't have one.
And his insurance agent would have to be there and say it was okay. Sure. We'd wreck it. I don't care. This is a true story. I'm going to tell this real quick unless you got to go. But when I was a kid, of course, I grew up in the country and everybody had 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers and all that stuff. I guess I was young enough as 3-wheeler. But I was never wired that way. You know, like I was never the guy to jump on the 3-wheeler before I would do it. And there was a cousin of mine. He had a trailer and a flat piece of land, 40 acres around. It was just a trailer and 40 flat empty acres. And he said, "Here, get on the 3-wheeler and ride it." And I ran into the trailer with the 3-wheeler. That's a true story.
I didn't know that. I ran a 3-wheeler through a fence.
No way.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Ran a 3-wheeler. Yeah.
We'd be an even match.
It's a push for y'all whenever y'all do it.
The Vegas odds are even, no doubt.
Absolutely. We got both revealing some crashes
that's it.
You didn't know the other had. But yeah, hockey guy's fun when he calls in. And you know, as a guy who doesn't have daughters, Copley is the sweetest little thing. Just hearing her call in, and that's a unique name too. I've never heard that name. It's, you know, I wasn't like the one that named our kids, but when I said that is a cool little name too. That is.
Yes.
Yeah, Copley's a sweetheart.
She's such a strong, sweet young lady.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, what else do I have? Because you coach track, Stockton. So I gotta ask you, you know, your thoughts. There's not a lot going on as far as UK, and you know we've been talking about different stuff, but the Kentucky track team and Abby Steiner, as you've been a track coach, I just got to get your thoughts on. I mean, she's been just tearing it up all year long. Your thoughts on what she's been doing?
Isn't it great what all of them, you know, it's becoming a tradition. UK track is becoming especially a women's track in particular is becoming such a huge thing. And Abby Steiner, and it just it's something for my kids to look at. For one, I've got a young lady who wants to go to UK. She got to go to state this year. She's a 7th grader. Julissa London's her name. Just her being there and being at that track at state, being able to run. She got a picture with all those signs. That's something to strive for. But even if you don't make that, it does show just the ability of what it can become. Now, Abby Steiner, obviously, just such a tremendous athlete, just head and shoulders above most everyone else. I'm looking forward to seeing what keeps on coming out of UK with Sydney McLaughlin. You know, you got all that. Richardson, so much up there still. Yeah.
You know, you add to that too. You have to give Mitch Barnhart credit, and I know there's some maybe angst in Big Blue Nation fan land with the NIL stuff and how's it going to impact football, especially. And I hope they get all that worked out. I don't know the ins and outs of all that, but when Mitch Barnhart came to Kentucky, I don't think we were excelling in a number of sports. Mm-hmm. And he said he was going to do that, and he's been a man of his word. He made Kentucky competitive in just about everything that you can think of. And track is just I love it when TB he's always tweeting, you know, it's track school, it's swimming school, it's a gymnastics school. Yeah. And it is, you know, softball's really competitive. I think the baseball team made a run at the end, fell a little short, but Kentucky now is not just a one brand athletic department.
I think, and if I'm not mistaken, Abby Steiner, wasn't she originally a soccer player and switched to track? I mean,
exactly right.
My goodness. So that's unbelievable.
That's wild.
And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, you know, because we had Coach Floreal, when he was there, EJ's dad, we were able to get him on. And when he left for Texas, we kind of thought, maybe the track might kind of, but it hasn't missed a beat with Coach Green and with Messiah Russell and all of them that has been there. It's still, we're still talking about it. It's one of the reasons that Kentucky was 9th in the Directors' Cup. When you can lose in the first round to St. Peter's and go 9-16 in basketball, we don't like to bring those big Blue Couch memories up. But your athletic program is still 11th and 9th and up there with the Stanfords and the Texases and in the Directors' Cup. That's unbelievable.
It's a nice deal. Now, I do have to ask, you talked about the Directors' Cup. We didn't talk about it on our show. We just left it. When we have guests, I'm sure like this, we just don't cover as much stuff as we normally would. But the USC-UCLA thing just floored me with them going to the Big Ten. We didn't get to all that. I just wonder how all this stuff is going to shake out. Eventually, is it the death of the NCAA? And are you just going to be looking at the power schools creating probably 4 mega conferences? Is that what we're looking at?
It seems that way. And to me, the Pac-12 and ACC are kind of flopping like fish right now. I wonder about them because UCLA leaves and USC and if it's going to be an arms race, SEC, Big Ten, well, then they're probably going to get Florida State and Clemson or North Carolina because the geography's been out the window long ago.
For a long time.
That's been gone. So it's money, it's the arms race, and are they each going to get 20 teams or
right?
So yeah, I think it's just a big power play now too.
I say that because you talk about track, and then I was thinking about volleyball and the job that they've done with volleyball at University of Kentucky and being national champions just a couple of years ago. And I think you're looking at a world now where it is Kentucky against Stanford, where it is USC against Illinois. I mean, the regional stuff is dead. You're competing against all comers at this point everywhere across the board.
Yeah. So. And we've been hearing rumblings of this for a long time. And then just like in the snap of a finger, it's all just kind of really taking place. So,
yeah, there's an old saying that it goes slow until it goes fast.
Yeah.
Well, not fast. And I can't imagine what it'll be 5 years from now and how college athletics will look. One thing I do believe in my heart, though, I think Kentucky's going to be just fine however it shakes out. Love the people that are in charge. I think they're in good shape.
You mentioned that you were the class clown. When you run into old teachers and they see that you're a teacher and a superintendent and a coach and responsible, and do you say, how do you like me now? Or do they say, Hurt, is that really you? Or do you say, I told you so? How do those conversations go?
Most of what you said was accurate. I don't know about the responsible part, but everything else is on target. It's funny. I've had so much support, and I think back, I see a lot of my old teachers and so forth, and I think they saw probably more in me a long time ago than I did. And so I think most of them have maybe been proven right. And I'm just grateful to them, grateful that they hung in there with me, because I'm sure there were days that they would have liked to kick me right out the door. But I'm very thankful. I had some great teachers, great community, great support. So no, it's really mostly when I see them, I thank them, and man, they hug me and just tell me that they're proud of me. So it means a lot.
Yeah, that is good stuff. That is good stuff. I'm not trying to bring it down, but I can't have y'all on without mentioning about this time last year, when my dad passed, and y'all read his obituary and talked about him and mentioned him on the show. And I mean, that's just, I hope I thanked you then or sent you a message or something at the time, but that was for y'all to do that about, hadn't even met him, and then y'all read it out to everybody listening and stuff. I appreciate that. That was
we obviously still very sorry for your loss. You don't ever get over that. That's a tough deal. But I think I saw a picture maybe you had. I believe it was your dad after Tennessee, the Tennessee win. Was that something you posted recently?
Yeah, I did.
I tell you that because my father-in-law and I were also at the Matt Roark game, right?
Yeah,
we were there too. So we were in the same place. It was just
because it was, I don't know. Well, we all suffered through the losing streak to Tennessee because in '84, when the last time they won, I was 7. I don't remember. I don't know if I'm sure Dad had it on, but I wasn't watching. I don't remember us beating Tennessee that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as that streak went on, I kept wishing I'd have paid attention when I was 7.
Yeah.
So you fast forward to 2011 when they finally break the streak. I'm 34 years old. This is my first time seeing us beat Tennessee. And around 2005, 2006, my dad and my sister and I, we're going to go to every Kentucky-Tennessee game until they win. If it's in Knoxville, we go. In Lexington, we go. We're going to be there whenever it happens. And so you had those couple near misses, the 4 overtime, 52-50 game, the
So
30. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. Oh, the 30-24 game when Kiffin's 1 year there, they had them beat that year. It was freezing cold, and you had that sad walkout. And so we get to 2011. We're walking in. Kentucky's 2-8 or 2-9, whatever they are at the time. As bad as Tennessee was that year, we were still worse. So I wasn't really that optimistic. And so my sister and I, Dad's like, "Are we gonna get him today?" And I was like, I don't think we will. And my dad said, "We're beating them today. Today we're gonna beat them." And then they win 10-7, and we go out and storm the field. And we know at the time that means another year of Joker Phillips. We don't even care. We don't even care. And we storm the field, and whoever takes that picture, but I sent it because it was in reply to Tony Neely, whoever was trying to find the father and son in that picture. And I was saying there were lots of parent-kid moments that happened. But we also had a guest on that's in Iowa now, Camille Gear, and I had her on because, TB's in Iowa. She went to Tennessee. We ended up talking about that, storming the field. And I meant to give her that picture to post it sooner. So that was a reason for me to say, "Oh, yeah, remember, Camille, this was what we were talking about when Kentucky beat your Volunteers." So in a roundabout way, got that picture back out and posted it. Gave her a little dig because she, went to Tennessee. And it's always just fun to think back to, getting to storm the field and be there when Kentucky finally beat Tennessee to end that streak. It was a great day. And I think we talked before, Coach. It was a football basketball doubleheader. The basketball team played that night, and it was the 2012 eventual championship team, and they destroyed Portland or Portland State or something like that. Kid Gilchrist got a huge dunk. It's on YouTube. I look back at it every now and then. But that was a fun Saturday.
It definitely was. It's funny the memories that you have, and I'm 47, so I'm a little older. I'm not as old as Tony, but some of my favorite memories. I became a Kentucky fan. You had a TV and it had 3 channels if you were lucky, but you had radio, and you would listen to Kaywood Ledford, and I think Kaywood Ledford was just the greatest thing ever. I remember listening to basketball, but in the fall, we had a wood stove. You just had to cut wood to have heat, and we'd go out and cut wood and turn Kaywood on, listen to games, listen to football games. And I remember listening, and how memories are. So when I say this, don't hold me to the details because you misremember a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being out and being in that environment and listening. I believe it was Mark Higgs in 6, and they got down to the 1-yard line to beat Tennessee. This is Jerry Claiborne against Johnny Majors, and they gave it to him 4 times in a row, and they stuffed him 4 times in a row. And you're disappointed, but you're a kid and it's 80 whatever, and there's no losing streak, and you just don't think a whole lot about it. Then I'm like you, 30 years later, you're like, man, I wish Mark Higgs would have got across that. I wish he'd have got a touchdown. We wouldn't have to be dealing with this. But you start to learn not to take it for granted, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, we'll always be glad we decided to go. Made a point to if we don't go to the game, it's Tennessee. We're going to Knoxville and sitting in all that orange, suffering through. We're gonna be there when it happens, and it was so fun to see it pay off in the craziest way. Matt Roark and everybody knew they weren't about to go down the field in any way at all. It's all gonna be dink and dunk and run, and Tennessee's bringing their guys up because they know that they can't beat us deep, and they still won the game. So it's unbelievable. It really was. Really was. Y'all got any gigs coming up for the Pickers, Hornets Pickers performances, concerts y'all gonna be putting on for people throughout the summer?
Yeah, we got. I think we're going to play. We just got early August. We're going to play a night at the farmers market. They're going to do nighttime farmers market. We're going to play that. We got Relay for Life coming up pretty soon. We've got the Summer Shade gig we generally do in late August. So right down the road from my house, a place called Brent Center Park. They have 3 bands out there. We're kind of in the middle of the 2. Got a couple more. I think we're going to play a dance hall maybe in September or October, and looking for some more stills if you know anybody.
Okay.
We'll travel.
Hey, that'll work. Y'all got an album on Spotify, so that's
And you sing, right?
Oh,
We'll come your way, man. We let people on the stage.
I don't sing well. I attempted to sing at my wedding of all places, and I had the courage. The notes weren't where they should have been, but that
Your
old
heart was in the
song.
right place.
Yeah. Now my wife can sing, and I give her grief. I said, "You can sing, but I sung at our wedding. I can't sing." And there is video. There's a VHS of that that we need to convert to DVD or whatever. But there was because I'm a little quiet unless I'm talking about sports. According to my wife, you get him talking about sports, he never shuts up. But then other than that, I'm a little bit quiet till I get to know you. But once I made the decision I'm gonna sing this song, it was the old "So Much in Love" song, the old acapella. Even acapella, I can't sing and did acapella at that. And so there's a point in the video where I think the crowd at the reception kind of thinks I'm done. I'm like, no, I'm going all the way. And so they're like, oh, they look up again like, oh, he's still going. But I wasn't gonna not finish after I made the call to myself to do it. So
You're halfway there. You got to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fellas, I don't know. Seems like I'm still forgetting something, but I want to just keep y'all because y'all are standing, not even sitting, and you're still in the studio.
We're enjoying it big time, but we always appreciate the invitation, and again, just so happy to see your success and TB success, not just with this show, but with all the other many things that you're doing. So congratulations to you, and I hope you keep on trucking.
Well, we definitely trying our best. Appreciate you guys. Y'all success too. Y'all, the great guests you have, the cast-offs, the singing. Y'all can actually sing and perform and have people want to enjoy it. The harmonizing on the Abacus calculator song, the things you can count on. I mean, that's like, man, I'd take that. I'd take that if I could sound like that.
That's not bad.
That's me. I write it, I sing it, but he comes in and makes it sound good.
And I don't know if y'all talked about it on y'all show, but I mentioned it before y'all came on. A mutual guest that we both had on, Anna Tarullo, made her triumphant return back to BBN tonight after a lot of health issues that she's been dealing with for a long time. But she's just great people, and I listen when she comes on y'all show and chops it up and does cast off, and that infectious personality she has, and she's come on with us multiple times, and she's the same on TV as she is with us, and she's just a great person. So glad to see that she's feeling better and able to go back to work. And she's been kind enough to come on y'all show and come on our show. So congratulations, and glad she's on the mend.
Yeah, we mentioned that for sure because it's great to see her feeling better. She's been great. Come on out. We can't wait to get her back on. And when you and Terry, if you ever do take a Wednesday off and we're not off on vacation or something, you got to call in or come down, whatever, and be on our show.
Yeah, definitely got to do that. There's, I don't know, is it the Wednesday before, maybe before the football season starts? Because we got a niece that's getting married. She's kind of like a daughter. She's, she was 2 when my wife and I were dating, and now she's 24. And so, it's just in a blink of an eye now she's grown. But I don't have a daughter, like I said, but she's about the closest thing to a daughter that we have. She's my wife's niece, my wife's sister's daughter. So I think we're traveling that Wednesday. Speaking of Augusta, this is outside of Savannah. They live in Statesboro, Georgia, headed that way. And so I think we're going to head down on a Wednesday. TB and I will probably do the show Thursday since it's right before the first football game. You want to, get hyped up about, the football season. So maybe we can call in that Wednesday evening or something like that. If y'all are on that Wednesday, I'm not trying to book myself for your show. September the 1st. Go ahead and mark me that. That's not what I'm doing.
Love to have you.
We absolutely would.
Yeah. So if we're off and traveling, or if we already made it down to the place, give you guys a call and tune in. Is it the TuneIn app? Because I always listen on podcasts. It's the TuneIn app to catch you live on the Hoss.
Yep, 99.1 or 99.1, the Hoss out of Edmonton, Kentucky.
Okay. Because I'll have to download the TuneIn, because I'm always the next day hitting y'all up on Spotify or Apple Podcast or something like that. But
yeah, that's great. That's the one tough spot about having a live show is we don't get the downloads, and it's fine. We don't care how people listen, but we love it when people download, because I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell when people are doing that. I can't tell. We don't get ratings or anything, so we don't know if anybody's listening or not. But
yeah,
love the downloads.
It's always fun too, because it's just you get a pulse of what's going on in Edmonton. You guys been doing your show every week, but yet there'll still be that caller asking about a tractor for sale, about the trader. Never fails. Yeah. You get just a little taste of what's going on in town. I'm like, man, they should know you guys are on at this time and this day. But hey, man, I got a shotgun I want to trade. Can you give me a phone number? And Mark will come running, or y'all will get it and take it.
That's right. Yeah. We try to handle it with just let it go. And I love it when they call in wanting the trader and we hit them with a sports question.
Yeah.
So we ask them, do you think Trubisky or Kenny Pickett will start this year? And they're like, oh, what?
Right.
Is Marcy there? Put Marcy on the phone.
Right. Yeah, you trying to bring them into the show. That's right. So good. It's so good. Well, fellas, we appreciate it, and appreciate the invites to the fantasy league that I always get beat down in, and y'all keep bringing me in anyway.
You got it.
But thank y'all so much, and have some good vacations. Enjoy what's left of your summer before school ramps up and the season ramps up and it gets a little more hectic. So appreciate y'all so much.
All right. Thanks
for having us on, man.
Hey, appreciate it. Y'all be good. That's Coach Hurt, Stock Tony, the KY Sports guys. Good people right there. Y'all check them out. 99.1, the Hoss. They're on live every Wednesday. Same time as us. We 5 to 6 Central Time, 6 to 7 Eastern Time. There's two good dudes right there. I rambled a little bit before they came on, and then it was fun to chop it up and catch up with both of those guys right here at the end of this show. So y'all can check it out on Anchor, Spreaker, Spotify, YouTube, Roku. Now hit the promo video, show everybody what they get. Part of the BS3 network that we're part of. Let me hit that promo, and then we'll head out and put the ribbon and bow on another fun show. So here we go, y'all. So a wide variety of podcast programs that are part of the BS3 network. We're proud to be part of the network and get to have our show broadcast on Roku under the BS3 Sports umbrella, the BS3 network umbrella. Appreciate Ben Sutterth and all the other hosts that are there. Al High is another guest we've had on here too. I forgot to mention him with AJ Jones and Ivan Dawkins, Ben Sutterth, Courtney Harden. Had Al High from out there close to Kansas City. Talk some Jayhawks and some Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and all that good stuff. Had to get Al on with us again as well. But BS3 Network, we definitely appreciate it. Y'all be sure to follow us on Twitter at Cats Talk Wednesday. Thanks again to Coach Jay Hurt, Josh Hurt, D Stock Tony, Bryant Stockton, KY Sports Guys coming on and chopping it up with us. Been another fun episode of Cats Talk Wednesday. TB will be back next week. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Y'all be safe. Have a good week. We'll talk to y'all next time.